Hi, hello everybody. This is me, Ankita, and in today's video, I'm giving you the one formula sheet for surface chemistry that can literally decide your marks. I have included every single important formula. See? Can you see them? The ones that have already come in exams and the ones with the highest chance of coming this year. So no extra theory, no fluff, just the formulas that you need to remember with quick tips to never forget them. Let's start. So thermodynamics of adsorption. So for adsorption, we already know that this is the equation to follow, where this is the Gibbs free energy, you might already know. And to make this negative, to keep this negative, and already delta H is exothermic for adsorption. Important. It is exothermic for adsorption and hence that will also be negative. Entropy as a result, you have a surface and on the surface you have random gaseous molecules which come and attaches to the surface and hence here also delta S is negative. So delta S is also negative. So all the parameters with respect to adsorptions are negative. And in order to keep this delta G negative, always the temperature should remain low. Temperature should remain low, or in other words, what we can say is the modulus of delta H should always be higher than T delta S. Otherwise, it won't be negative. So as temperature increases, the adsorption decreases. Or we can say as temperature increases, desorption increases. Now, based on this, there are a few graphical representations. One is isotherm, isobar, and isostere. Iso meaning same. So isotherm means temperature is constant over here. In the next case, pressure is constant. And in the third case, theta is constant. What is theta? Theta is the extent of adsorption. That is kept constant. So if we can see from the isotherm at a constant temperature, as we increase the pressure initially, the surface coverage increases, then after a value, it attains saturation. This is how a normal isotherm looks. While in the case of isobar, just we discussed above, right? As temperature increases, the extent of adsorption decreases because delta G becomes positive. Last one is isostere, meaning same surface coverage. In order to maintain same surface coverage, this is the trend that you see with temperature versus pressure. All right. Now, the next one is desorption activation energy, or in some language, you can also say the lifetime. Lifetime. How long will the adsorbate stay on the surface of the adsorbent? That is determined by this particular equation. Gamma is equal to gamma naught e to the power EA by RT. This is actually the reciprocal of the Arrhenius equation. Arrhenius equation is K is equal to A e to the power minus EA by RT. We have taken the reciprocal on both sides, where the pre-exponential factor is the reciprocal of Arrhenius constant. If this happens at two different temperatures, the equation is as below, which is ln of gamma 2 by gamma 1 is equal to EA by R, 1 by T2 minus 1 by T1. Correct? And the unit of gamma is going to be the units seconds or minutes. It's simply the time, usually. And that's why it's also called the lifetime. How long will it stay on the surface? Okay, now coming to the different types of isotherms. The first one, the primary one, is Freundlich adsorption isotherm, where theta over here is the extent of adsorption, x is the amount of adsorbate, and m is the amount of adsorbent. I hope you don't have a confusion between adsorbate and adsorbent. If you have a solid surface onto the top of which the gaseous molecules will come and attach, this solid surface is the adsorbent. And these gaseous molecules that you have is the adsorbate. Okay, so theta is equal to the amount of the adsorbate divided by the amount of the adsorbent, which is equal to Kp to the power 1 by n, where P is the pressure of the gas and K and N are Freundlich constants. K and N are Freundlich constants. Correct. Now, in certain textbooks, you can see that this is written as Kp to the power n. The point to be noted is this power, whatever this value is, this always comes between 0 to 1. Always. Another way in which this question can be asked is you can take the log, where log of x by m is equal to log k plus 1 by n log p, where along the y-axis you have log x by m and log p. Depending upon the value of k, the intercept can be positive, 0 or negative. So from the straight line equation, slope is 1 by n and intercept is log k. Next is the Langmuir adsorption isotherm. Very important. Most number of questions have come from here. Right. So here, theta is equal to Kp by 1 plus Kp. Theta is the surface coverage. K over here is the Langmuir's constant. Okay, I have marked it over here. K is the Langmuir's constant and P is the pressure. So it can either be in terms of theta, which is theta is equal to Kp by 1 plus Kp, or the equation can be in terms of Kp, which is theta by 1 minus theta. Okay, that is one thing. And the other way in which theta can be written is theta is VAD by Vm, where VAD is the volume of gas which is adsorbed onto the surface. And Vm is the amount of gas which is required for monolayer formation. So this VAD by Vm also notates theta. So in terms of volume also, you have graphical representations based on which, let's see the equation first. So the first equation is 1 by VAD is equal to 1 by KVMP plus 1 by Vm, where corresponding to third equation, I have plotted the graph. We can see the graph of 1 by V versus 1 by P. The slope is 1 by KVM and the intercept is 1 by Vm. The same equation if multiplied with P throughout, you get equation number 4. And corresponding to this, the graph is shown over here where we have P by V along the y-axis and P along the x-axis with a slope of 1 by Vm and intercept of 1 by Kvm. So please be careful. In the first case, whatever is the slope is equal to the intercept of the second case. So you can learn any one and you can use it. Okay. Also, Langmuir curve, the most important curve. This is just seen as the isotherm, which we already saw, theta versus P. You get a curve like this, which is attaining saturation. Okay. Now, most students make mistake over here because they don't read the question well. If nothing is asked or mentioned in the question, you have to understand that the methodology or the type by which the adsorption is happening is non-dissociative. By default, this is the default case. Nothing is mentioned. So this is a default case. Default case means nothing mentioned in the question. Then what you'll do is you will take the normal equations. Theta is equal to Kp by 1 plus Kp. Kp is equal to theta by 1 minus theta. Either of these, which we saw earlier. But then if it is dissociative, if the question says that it is dissociative, then the scenarios change. Then the equation that you use is as shown over here, which says theta is equal to Kp to the power 1 by n, where n is the atomicity, plus 1 by Kp to the power 1 by atomicity. Or Kp to the power 1 by atomicity is equal to theta by 1 minus theta. What do you mean by atomicity? For example, for oxygen, atomicity is 2. For ozone, it is equal to 3. I hope you understand. All right. Now, no long derivation. Another numerical which has been asked in GATE is total surface area of the adsorbent. Total surface area of the adsorbent is Avogadro number into Vm is, you know what it is, by 22.4 liters into area of one molecule. Now, let's say you know the mass. This is the mass of molecule. Okay. And this is the density. So if you know the mass and density of the molecule, you can substitute the second one and you can find the total surface area as well. First one is more important. Questions have been asked. Sometimes they will also give you the radius. So if radius is given, you know area of one molecule can be written as pi r square, because onto the surface, the area of the molecule which comes in contact with the surface is taken as circular, and this circular area is pi r square. Okay, so area of the molecule can be taken as pi r square if radius is also given. That is a total surface. Now, the advanced form of isotherm is the BET isotherm, Bronner, Emmett, Teller isotherm, wherein there is a addition. So theta is equal to K1P by 1 minus P by P naught into 1 minus P by P naught plus K1P. This becomes Langmuir isotherm when P by P naught is equal to 0 or P naught attains infinity. That is the case when a BET becomes Langmuir. Okay, now apart from the normal BET equation, this is the modified BET equation. Modified BET equation, you have to learn it. You have to learn it. So from the modified BET equation, you can even get graphs. Okay, let me draw that as well. So let me draw a graph. Okay, where P by VAD, P minus P naught versus P by P naught, if you plot, you get a straight line whose slope is C minus 1 into VMC and whose intercept is 1 by VMC. This is the equation. You have to note it. What is C? C is a constant which is equal to the first equilibrium constant. So for BET isotherm, the importance is it takes into consideration the multilayer formation. Multilayer formation is considered. Correct? So corresponding to each molecule which is being adsorbed, you have different equilibrium constants. So K1 is the first equilibrium constant. First equilibrium constant. And what is KL? KL is equal to 1 by P naught, where P naught is the saturation pressure. Saturation pressure is the pressure where beyond which the gas becomes liquid. Okay. Next, types of BET isotherms. So there are several types. So if you can see the first one, here P, with increase in P, theta also increases, but then after a point it becomes stagnant. Means this corresponds to monolayer formation. While in the next one, you can see a dotted line, and this dotted line corresponds to the saturation pressure that we were talking about. That means beyond which it becomes a liquid. So here, after the monolayer formation, it is again increasing, showing multilayer formation. While in 3, there is no monolayer formation, it is directly forming multilayer. In 4, it forms a monolayer and then it forms another layer which is again reaching saturation. Saturation in the sense, the coverage is not changing, but it is not reaching the liquefying pressure as well. While the third one is where monolayer formation is not complete, before which there is a multilayer formation extending through the saturation pressure. Okay, so you have to learn all of these with the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to recall the numbers as well. Now, the next one is the Gibbs adsorption isotherm. In Gibbs adsorption isotherm, the adsorbate that you consider can be solid or liquid, and the adsorbent that you consider is liquid. So in the previous cases, it was gas on solid. Here it is solid on liquid or liquid on liquid, for which this quantity of change in surface tension with chemical potential, which is very important, called the surface excess concentration. This is called the surface excess concentration. Important. This surface excess concentration is equal to N2 minus N2 naught by N1 naught into N1 by sigma. What is sigma? Sigma over here is the surface area. And what are N2, N1, N2 naught and N1 naught? Let me write it over here. N2 naught is the amount of solute in bulk. N1 naught is the amount of solvent in bulk. Okay, you have to be careful because this is not the important equation actually speaking. The other one meaning this one. That is surface excess. Let me explain. Surface excess is equal to, this equation is what is important. Minus A2 RT into changes in surface tension by changes in the activity is what is more important. Okay, what is A? A over here is the activity of the solute. And under highly dilute conditions, this activity becomes concentration. So what is C? C is the concentration of solute. So this is more important. Okay, this is of even more importance. Okay, so N2 is the amount of N2 is the amount of solute in the bulk. N1 naught is the amount of solvent in the bulk, and N2 is the amount of solute in bulk plus surface, and N1 is the amount of solvent in bulk plus surface. If you want the detailed videos, please check the playlist of the channel. Okay. Now, also with respect to the films, we learned that there is something called pressure. Pressure is pressure by RT, where R is the universal gas constant, T is the temperature, this is the surface excess, is simply changes in the surface tension by RT. Correct? What is gamma? Gamma is the surface tension of solution, meaning solute plus solvent. While gamma naught is the surface tension of solvent only. Okay, so out of which this is the most important equation to find the surface excess. Also, when you have Gibbs adsorption isotherm, they follow something called the 2D equation. So what is a 3D equation? 3D equation to be know is very famous. PV, pressure into volume, is equal to nRT. So instead of that, when you come to the liquid on liquid systems, you have pi A is equal to NKBT. where Kb is the Boltzmann constant. Boltzmann constant. Okay? And finally, the most important, there are a lot of questions that is being asked recently, is the Langmuir-Hinshelwood mechanism. According to the Langmuir-Hinshelwood mechanism, you have an additional step. Okay, so there is an equilibrium step which is considered in Langmuir's adsorption also. But in Langmuir-Hinshelwood mechanism, you have an additional step, which is the rate determining step. Okay, so if that is the rate determining step, this rate is going to be equal to Kr into concentration of As, and concentration of As can be written as the extent of adsorption, how much adsorption has taken place. So here you can put in the values from the Langmuir adsorption isotherm, and it becomes Ka Pa by 1 plus Ka Pa into K. Easy. At times, you can have certain substances like inhibitors. I is an inhibitor. So when you have inhibitors, there would be competitive adsorption. So if you have competitive adsorption, what you have to consider is you have to consider KAPA by 1 plus KAPA. In addition to that, you have to consider the product of the inhibitor gas as well. That should also be considered. See, it's not just Kp by 1 plus Kp. Instead, it is KAPA by 1 plus KAPA plus KIPI. Here also, this is the rate determining step. Here, this is the rate determining step. So you have to consider the other inhibitor as well. Third case is where you have both of these. Okay? That means this is theta A and this is theta B. Both of them are required for the product formation. Okay? So what is theta A equal to? Theta A is equal to Ka Pa by 1 plus Ka Pa plus Kb Pb. And what is theta B equal to? That is equal to Kb Pb divided by 1 plus Kb Pb plus Ka Pa. When you finally put in the equations, you will get it like this. You get a square over here. See? Important. Here also they can ask if the gases are dissociative or not. So if they are dissociative, you have to understand that you have to put a power where 1 by atomicity comes into play. A is the atomicity. A is atomicity. You can either use A or N. Earlier we have used N, so let's use N here as well. N is the atomicity. Okay, and finally you have the Langmuir-Riedel mechanism. In Langmuir-Riedel mechanism, a free molecule interacts or reacts with an adsorbed molecule. An adsorbed molecule. Okay, so this is the free molecule and this is the adsorbed molecule. So for adsorbed molecule, theta A, we already know that this is equal to KAPA by 1 plus KAPA plus there is another gas KBPB. So that is there. See, KAPA by 1 plus KAPA plus KBPB. Along with that, you have to multiply with the pressure of B as well. Detailed mechanisms again are discussed in the classes. So please watch out the classes if you have not, or else these are the only formulas from where questions of surface chemistry would be asked. I hope it was useful. Thank you and see you in the next.